Network.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break.
It's time to work on becoming an actor with David Sarcusa. David started his acting, screenwriting, and movie production career in 2021, producing his first full-length feature film, which he wrote, produced, and starred in The Uncivil War, America Divided, within a year of entering the business. And he's the host of Becoming an Actor on the TAN Talk Radio Network. Now, here's your local, not yet famous, not quite Hollywood star, David Sarcusa.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Cranking up the tunes tonight. I like it, Matt. Welcome to Becoming an Actor on the TAN Talk Radio Network on 1340 AM and 106.1 FM. I'm your host, David Sarcusa, and we're going to get right into it today because I think we have a jam-packed show tonight. So if you want to call in, 727-441-3000. Please call in with any questions. Why are we going to have a jam-packed show tonight? Well, I was going to talk about some set basics, what to do when you're on set, how to act on set, all that good stuff. And I still plan on doing that, but I was on set this weekend up in Alabama. And get on set. Can't say this enough. Get on set, get on set, get on set. If you can get on set, that's where you want to be, is on set. I don't care what it's for. Go on as an unpaid PA. Whatever you need to do, a production assistant, get on set any way you can. Get on as an extra. If they need you for something, if it's not what you do, volunteer. See if they'll let you do it and learn as you go. Learn every aspect of the business, but being on set gives you so much exposure to so many things. I just love being on set because you always learn something. You always meet someone. Good things happen when you're on set. And heck, it creates show material for me. So what happened this weekend while I was on set? Well, I came across an interesting situation. And I thought this was very normal. So here's the thing, folks. This is what's going to happen with you. I've said this before. This business is not a paint by numbers. There is no one specific way to do it. All right. So I get on set and we go to sit down. I've got two lovely, fantastic actresses on either side of me. Bronwyn Kilcrease is on one side. Emma Copenhaver is on the other. And the director says, all right, let's go for it. I said, great. I know my lines. I'm ready. I kind of know what we're doing. He gives us a little direction. Okay. Bronwyn, you're going to kind of snuggle up to him. Emma, you're giving him the cold stare. Dave, you want to turn this way and then that way on this line. Go. I said, all right, great. He said, we're rolling on this one. Oh, okay. All right. We're rolling. So we go through the take. I'm not thrilled with how I did, but I'm okay with it. It's good. So I turned to the director because it was a very tight set. He was literally maybe 4 feet away from me. I turned to him and I say, Daniel, on this one, hey, is it okay if I put my arm around Bronwyn? Oh, Bronwyn, is it okay if I put my hand on your shoulder? Because whenever you are on set, should always check for comfortability of your fellow actors. If you're touching them, if you're being romantic with them, if you're being physical with them in any way whatsoever, always just check and confirm that they're okay with that. That's kind of a normal thing in life. If you're going to reach out and touch somebody, make sure they're okay with it. She looks at me and she's like, yeah, that's fine. So I said, I'm going to put my hand on her shoulder like this in this next take. Is that okay? Can I try that? I think it would feel better. The director, Daniel Emery Taylor, says, yeah, sure, that's great. Then he says 2 seconds later, he's like, camera, you good with that? Yes. Sound, you good with that? Yes. Okay. I thought it was good. All right, we're moving on. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to try something different. So that was the master take. So that was the shot where all three of the actors that were in that scene, the three of us, Bronwyn, Emma, and I were in the scene. So it's not a close-up shot. It's not tight. And he was ready to move on to our tight scenes. Now, this was very shocking to me. I'm like, whoa, that was it? I didn't know that was real. And Bronwyn looks at me and sweet as pie, just like her character, actually. She's like, yeah, what's the matter? That was great. Let's go. Let's move. So I get home And I'm immediately texting with Kylie. She's sweet. She reaches out, says, how'd it go on set? And I said, oh, it was great. It was fantastic. I said, it was so weird though. I said, the very first take, we just did a roll-on rehearsal and boom, they said, that's good. And we moved on. And she said, yeah, what's the problem? I said, well, what do you mean? You got to do one for safety, or you got to do a second take, make sure that you got, and then a third take. I gotta build up into this. And she's like, no, why would you do that? You just roll. If you get it, you move on. Time is money. And I'm sure that's exactly what they were thinking. For me, I'm saying, whoa, slow down. I just got here. So now here's the interesting thing, and this is a good lesson for me, obviously, because I just learned it this weekend. And for anyone else listening, you've got to come ready to play. And I love to use sports analogies. So if you are a basketball player and you're used to playing with the same team for 5 years, and all of a sudden you go out and you play with a new group of guys, I see it all the time. Someone comes out there, I know they can play. I've seen them on another team, but they come out and they're with a new group of people and they're not shooting as much, or they pass a lot, or they don't want to dribble too much. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Go attack the basket. You're a great player. Well, I don't really know these people yet. I'm kind of getting comfortable. You see it all the time. Then 2 weeks later, they're out there, they're dominating. And they're like, that's the player that I knew. And they're like, well, I'm comfortable now. An actor, a lot of the times, you don't have that opportunity to get comfortable. So I showed up on this set. Now, this set had only been going for 3 days when I got there, but that's still 2 full days that a lot of those actors and that crew had to get comfortable with each other. So Bronwyn was already breezing through these things, she's a fantastic actress. Same with Emma. So I'm sure for them, it was no big deal regardless. They've both been doing it for quite a while. So for them, it was seamless. They're like, yeah, we move on to the next take. But for me, I got there early, like I was supposed to, before my call time. I showed up. I said hi to a few people, but for whatever reason, I wasn't really my usual bubbly self. I didn't really get into the flow of things. I didn't get to meet too many people yet. I was kind of getting into my character as well, because this character was not the greatest guy. And so it took me a minute to get into it. Well, then when I got on set and he says, roll and action, I already knew my lines. My lines weren't a problem, at least as best as I'll ever know them, because that is my worst aspect, is my lines. I went over those lines 50 billion times. As soon as I hit set, first thing I do is panic that I'm going to get the lines wrong. And it turned out I was saying one character's name wrong, and I dropped one word in a line, which apparently it's a line from another movie I'd never seen before, but I guess everybody else in the crew knew it, and I was like, oh, missed that line, okay. So, but for me, I ad lib a lot. So if I don't get 1 or 2 words, for me, it's not a big deal. But it may very well be for the crew. If the writer of the movie is there, if the director is there and he wants to, or she wants to hear a specific word, you've got to get those lines right. And that's not the area where I necessarily shine. You look like you're trying to say something, Matt. Are you trying to jump in? No, you're just thinking real hard. Okay. So, for me, that's one of those things. I'm going to exchange words here. I'm not going to say the same line every time. And that's horrible for continuity. Every director and editor out there right now, Scripty, my business partner, Cookie, is probably like shaking and trembling with anger. You have to say the same words the same way. You have to move at the same time, because a movie is shot different scenes when you're shooting this scene. So the 3 of us are sitting here, Bronwyn's on one side, Emma's on the other. They're shooting the master. They're shooting the 3 of us. So if you haven't been on a film set and you're new to this and you're a new actor and you're going there, they're shooting us as the master if they're shooting the master first. And then they're going in on the individual. But the editor wants to see the same movements. If I say, we need to take that guy out, and I pick my drink up and I take a sip, I can't say, pick my drink up, take a sip, we need to take that guy out. You have to do the same thing, because now when they move the camera to different angles, they want to capture the same motion, the same time, on the same line. Everybody probably hated me on the Uncivil War, America Divided, because that's not me. I'm not good with that. I'm working to be better at it. But it was very interesting to me that myself and Kylie, two completely different things. Myself and Bronwyn on set. She was loosey-goosey. She jumped right into that character and she nailed it immediately every time. Me, I like to do that first rehearsal. I look at my character. I see what I did. I want to talk to people. Hey, Emma, what did you think? Because I kind of turned to you before I took the oyster out of your hand. Should I have done that, or do you think I should wait first? Bronwyn, I want to put my arm around you because I kind of leaned into you and it didn't feel right. I think it would be more comfortable if I put my arm around you. I want to discuss those things. I want to block. I want to see what feels right, and I want to go through it. And they're saying, no. Bronwyn's whole point was, she looked at me and she said, no, you're wrong. It is the first reaction that's the most visceral. That is the most realistic. That's where you get the actor. And when I talked to Kylie, it's funny, we were texting. I immediately picked up the phone and I called her and I said, what? No, we have to rehearse. I have to get my movements down to the point where I'm comfortable with them. I know where I'm going to say this line. I know where I'm going to put my hand up. I want to feel comfortable. She's like, you are wasting time and money, Dave. Wrong. So, of course, I immediately had to go to Facebook and put this up on Facebook. And
because isn't, after all, Facebook the world's venting post anyway?
It's the venting post. But so I didn't want to vent. I wanted people to vent at me because I wanted to hear, what do you think? Do you agree with Kylie and Bronwyn, or do you agree with me? Who do you think they agreed with?
Kylie and Bronwyn.
It was kind of split.
Okay, so it's like 50-50.
So I think, and I didn't really look at this, but I should have. I think more of the crew-minded people agreed with Bronwyn and Kylie. I think they were thinking,
time is money. Let's go.
We've got to move. That's right. We've got to get to the next shot. Dave, you're an actor. All you're worried about is perfection. Getting it. We're moving. We've got a process. We know what we want. If we like it, we're moving on. Me, I'm saying, but I didn't like the performance that I get. I want to give my best performance. I want to know that you got the best out of me. Right? That's why I'm going.
That's the whole point. You're very performance based, and that's the way most actors think. Am I right?
I think so. Which is funny because Kylie's on both sides of the camera. I am a little bit technically on both sides of the camera, but I'm an actor.
Yeah, but you're a little bit more. She's 50-50. She can go either way. You're more.
No, she leans more towards the crew side, I think. I think she leans more to the crew side. Yeah, I lean more towards acting.
So wait,
way more.
Wait, does that mean she's done crew more than acting, or?
Yes, and I think she prefers crew.
All right, and what about you?
I definitely prefer the acting side.
Right.
I'll do crew. I enjoy it. So I have one coming up where I'm going to direct.
Okay.
Not the technical aspect. I'm going to direct the actor side. Because, again, that's the part that I love. So I want to get the emotion from the actors.
Well, is there a difference between, like, when they give somebody a directing credit, is that directing the actors or, like, directing the TV show or the movie?
That's going to be both typically. I mean,
really?
they are the director. They are responsible for directing the actors and the set. But they are the director. Now, they can have assistants that help them. Like in this case, not the first AD, that's separate. But what I'm saying is, like, so Luke Reether on this particular film, Race Against Time, that's coming up, he's asked me. He said, Dave, I want to focus on some other stuff, just solely director related, just the technical aspect of that. You know, if I could have the actors not engaging with me so much. And I said, that's great. So I get to talk to them about the emotion we're trying to drag out of them. Right. Normally that's the director, but he's saying, I'd like to put that off on you. I'm not the first AD. I'm just helping. So I'm not really directing this. I like to say it because it makes me sound more important, but I'm not directing. I'm going to work on some of the blocking with the actors. I'm going to work on the emotion, but really Luke is the director.
So you're David, director emeritus.
Sure. I like that. That sounds good. That sounds very
professional,
very much more important than I am.
All right.
So now here was the other mistake, the mistake, I'm doing the air quotes here, the mistake that I made. Because I spoke directly to the director. I'm not supposed to be doing that. I got called out on that. What are you doing talking to the director? You're not supposed to talk to the director. You're supposed to go through the first AD. So that is where the first AD, the first assistant director, is supposed to be the barrier between us annoying actors and the director, because the director's got 50 billion things going on in their mind at the same time. They're watching the monitor to make sure that the shot went right. They're watching the actors. They're watching 1,000 different things. The last thing they want are crew members coming up to them, actors coming up to them, asking them questions, saying, hey, should we, we're out of water for Crafty. That's not something the director should be bothered with. So what did I do? Hey, Daniel, is it okay if I put my arm around the actress? Technically, I should not be doing that. Now, I got lots of responses on Facebook from directors and from first ADs and from other individuals saying, you know what, sometimes it's okay to do that. And this is where you have to know your film crew. Again, this is Florida, folks. We're not Hollywood. We're not on multi-million-dollar shoots most of the time. We're usually on budgets under $1 million. These are small budget films. So a lot of the times you're going to be in a scenario like I was on Saturday or Sunday, whenever I filmed, Sunday, where I could look over and the director is sitting right there. Now, should I ask him 50 billion questions? Should I lift this cup now? Should I put my hand here? No, because if all three of us are doing that, plus the crew is asking him questions, he'll never be able to do anything. But it was a little bit more of a laid back film set, which I like. So I was able to talk directly to him. There was a break in the action. It looked like we had a moment. So I said, Daniel, is it okay if I put my hand here? He said, yeah, that's fine. If I was peppering him nonstop, it would absolutely be the job of the first AD to say, Dave, shut up. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You can't ask him every 3 seconds a question. If it's a relaxed, laid back set, you can ask them some questions. Just, on the basketball court, we always say, know your personnel. KYP, know your personnel. If you're throwing a pass, if you're 25 years old and you're throwing a pass to a 52-year-old guy running down the court and you're throwing it as hard as you can, I'm probably not catching that ball. Know your personnel. Do not throw the ball that hard at me, okay? Not if I'm on your team and you want to win. Make it so I can catch the ball and make my move, right? So same thing here. If I can talk to the director and it's okay, feel it out. If it feels wrong, if I feel like I am bothering the director and I'm asking a lot of questions, everybody else is asking a lot of questions, then I'm doing something wrong. You should be able to know this. And if you don't know it, here's something really good you can do. Ask somebody on set. Talk to your co-actor. Bronwyn, am I driving Daniel crazy? You've been on set with him for 2 days. I just got here. Am I driving him? No, Dave, he's a really cool guy. You can talk to him. Don't bug him like crazy. Go to the first AD. Hey, I've asked the director 1 or 2 questions just because we were in close proximity. It seemed like it made sense because he was looking right at me. So I thought it was a good question to ask. No, Dave, you're doing fine. Or, you know what, Dave? Yeah, I was actually about to step in and say stop. Okay, so ask somebody. Most people on set are usually going to be very nice, and they're going to appreciate that you're trying not to overstep your bounds. That's the biggest thing. Make sure you're not overstepping your bounds. Let everyone in the crew do their job. If you see something that's really blatant, if you see somebody forgot their cell phone on a table and it's a 1850s film and they're getting ready to say roll, you might want to say, hey, there's a cell phone here. Okay. Maybe continuity missed it. Somebody didn't realize it happens, but give crew time to figure out that the cell phone's there. Don't immediately start yelling, hey, I got a cell phone here. That shouldn't be here. Just calm, but, try to help out, but do it in a low-key manner. Everyone will appreciate your efforts. Just don't overstep. This is kind of like going to school. When you're in school, usually the people who are annoying could tell if they were being annoying. Sometimes they didn't care enough to stop. Sometimes they wanted to be annoying. Sometimes they didn't know they were annoying. If you're another actor on set and you see another actor is doing something, especially if you know they're a new actor, they might not know what they're doing. If you're the veteran actor, say, hey, just just trying to be helpful for what it's worth. Maybe you need to go to the first AD with that. That might be helpful. Oh, I didn't realize, who's the first AD? Who am I supposed to go talk to? So again, I got thrown in on that set pretty quickly. And I don't say thrown in like they did this to me. I have to show up on set. I have to be ready to perform. It's my job to find out that Tobias is first AD or scripty or whomever it is. It's my job to be prepared and to know who that person is that I'm supposed to go to instead of the director. So, am I calling myself out here at the same time as saying I did the right thing? I don't know. Kylie thought, no, you're being goofy, Dave. You're wasting time and money. I thought I was doing it the right way. It's usually somewhere in the middle. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's really tough, to know if you're being needy or not. I like to develop my character. How did my big kiss scene go? So we talked about this last week, that I was going to be on scene and I was going to kiss a fellow actress. Well, I'm not going to talk about the film because, the film will come out, and you should never give away anything about a film that you are shooting. That is a huge no-no. You don't put things up. You don't post. I'm going to talk about that later. So never give away anything. Matt, you were just going to ask.
Yeah, why is that such a cardinal sin?
Oh, because think about it. What was the Bruce Willis movie? The Fifth Sign or the
Fifth Element?
No. The one where he's the dead guy and you don't know it until the end.
Oh, I know it.
Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense. Yeah.
With Harry Joe Osment, I see dead people.
I see dead people.
That's the Sixth Sense. Yes.
Nobody wants to be the idiot that gives away the fact that Bruce Willis is already dead, and everybody goes into the movie knowing that he's dead. That ruins the entire film, right? So I don't want to talk about what my character does in the film, but what I can say is, without giving away any plot or anything that happens in it, is that communication is so key on a set. And in this case, that when I started talking with Bronwyn, the actress that I was in this scene, I said, in this case, and this set really was, it was a great set on Sunday. It really was a great set. Foxglove Candy, I'm sure this is going to be a great film because it really ran smoothly. It was different from what I am kind of accustomed to and what I expected, but they did it really well. And when we came to the scene where it was going to be kind of a, not a sexual nature, there was no nudity or anything, but, romantic nature, then I said to the director, I went to the director between takes privately, and I said, hey, I'd really like to get a chance to work this through with Bronwyn. He said, absolutely, we're going to do this. He had already planned that. I talked to Bronwyn, same thing. She's like, absolutely, let's talk about it. Let's go through it. And we actually, so this one, we did rehearse multiple times because I told them I'm going to feel much more comfortable because of the nature of this scene. I want to walk through it a bunch of times. Everyone, the crew was fantastic about it, so supportive of it. We removed from the room most of the crew that were not needed there. We only kept the essential people in there. And Bronwyn and I stepped aside to a private room. We talked about it, and we decided, look, the kissing is not needed in this scene. So, all the talk about it and all the build up to, am I going to have to do a kiss for the first time on film? And at the end of the day, when Bronwyn and I talked about it, we're like, this will not help the scene in any way. For me to kiss her, now I had to kind of kiss her neck or something, but that's not easy to see on film. So it was a little bit of what we talked about as far as Hollywooding it up and not actually kissing. It wasn't needed. And I'm telling you, this scene is going to come out fantastic. The kissing part was not anything that needed to happen in there. So we talked about it. We went through it. We did a good job of saying, okay, at this point, I'm going to do this and I'm going to say this line. And Bronwyn said, okay, I'm going to react like this and I'm going to say this line. Okay. And then that's going to be your cue for me to sit up and I do this and then my reaction. We walked through each thing. We went at 10% speed. because it was a very emotional scene. We slowed it down. We went very methodically through each scene. Then we got on set. And we actually did it on set, and we did the blocking. And the reason we got on set and did the blocking on set is because we were doing it first in a room where we were running through the blocking. And then we went to set, and the set was different. Now you have to look at where is the camera set up. That's going to change some of your blocking. So that for me is really big in the rehearsal. So I get that when we were seated at the table and there wasn't a whole lot of blocking, we rolled on rehearsal, we got it, and we moved on. When it came to an emotional, romantically charged, if you'll call it that, scene, then we rehearsed it. We still did it in one take because we were able to get it. But there were parts of the scene that we then closed in on and redid a couple of takes on until the director was happy and Daniel could say, all right, we've got it, moving on now. So there's a lot that goes into it. I like the rehearsals. On this particular set, they were really good about rehearsal matters when it matters. When we can get it without rehearsal, time is money. That's where Kylie was yelling at me. I still disagree with you, Kylie, because I'm on the actor's side, but that's all right. I know we love each other and that it's all in good spirit. And we have a call on the line right now. We've got Buddha from Atlanta on the phone.
Hey, what's going on, big guy?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I love what you were talking about with the rehearsals and all.
Well, so right now, I feel like you're bringing the bedroom voice here, Bronson. You're bringing. I feel like the music should be playing. You're ready for the big romantic scene. But so you're more on the acting side, right? Obviously, I know Bronson Taylor was a lead in my film, The Uncivil War: America Divided, along with a lead in a billion other films and TV shows that are coming out. So, Bronson, tell me, what's your thoughts on it from the acting side?
So I think it's dependent on the scene, as you were saying. It's different when you're sitting at a table read, especially via Zoom. There's no interaction with the other actors, so there's no chemistry. When you're sitting at a table doing a table read, it's just that as well. Although you're trying to act or say the words in your voice, there's still no interaction. There's still no setup. You don't understand what the actual layout of the scene is until you actually get on set. What's in the script might not be what the setup is, be it budgeting or depending on the space that's available. So with that being said, especially when you're doing an intimate scene, the actors that are involved have to be comfortable with each other. And that would call for rehearsal.
That is such a great point, that you can read the script over 30 times. And then when you get to set, they're like, oh, yeah, for this operation scene where the guy's supposed to be bleeding out, we couldn't afford the doctor's office. So here's what we're making look like a doctor's office. And it's completely different from the setup that you expected, right?
Yep. Happens a lot.
Yeah. And then the other thing, what you were talking about with the blocking is I heard this described really well. I forget who said this, but they said, try and imagine dancing. And a lot of people really struggle with the movements. Once they get that, they say, oh, dancing's easy. You're doing the same moves over and over again. Yeah. Try and go out there and dance a choreographed dance, a first wedding dance, or any kind of like the samba or something like that. And then try and say lines while you're dancing. Most people have trouble just with the dancing part, but now try saying lines with it and see how far you get.
Exactly. And then now add in the intimacy portion of it, especially if this is not your partner, or if you do have a partner and back of mind, you're concerned about will that be offensive to them? Now, as an actor, most of us, we have partners, or hopefully we do, that understand that this is just the nature of the business. But I've had a situation where one of the actresses, her boyfriend, didn't like the scene. And he wanted to let me know that he didn't like it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, I understand. I reassured him again over and over as much as I could, that there was nothing that happened. It's all about the angles. And I think you were discussing that as well about, you had to still, like be intimate, like you're kissing on the neck or something you said.
Yes.
But it depends on the angle. The camera angle could make it look a lot more than what it is.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So it's just one of those things. Again, all that comes with rehearsal, because remember, rehearsal is not just for the actor; it's for the DP as well. It's for the director as well, because they have to see what it looks like and give notes.
So true. Yeah. And so it's interesting too, because in this scene, after we had worked out the blocking, everything seemed to be great. Then we get out there and we get onto the couch, and what you're talking about there with it's not emotional. It's tough to explain that to someone. But when I am in that scene, I'm kind of on top of her on a couch. I've got a camera that's like 6 inches away from my face, looking right at me. I've got somebody holding a light from underneath me to give light on my face. There is nothing romantic about that situation. This is not candlelight dinner, right? But it's tough for people to understand that when all they see is the finished product, and they say, "Oh, that looked, you two were really going at it." Well, that's what that's what we get paid to look like, and like you said, that's what the DP and the director get paid to pull out of us, right?
Yeah, exactly. There are times where you're going to have to break your comfortability and have those intimate moments. There was a scene that I did in the movie. I was married, but I had 3 women that I was dealing with on the side. And so I had to be intimate with each of these women in one way or another, which was extremely weird. But one of the scenes was a very, very intense, kissing sexual scene, because it was supposed to show like I'm cheating on my wife, this woman who I really, really, I'm lusting after. And I finally got an opportunity to be with her. In that moment, you're not going to be tender, like, "Oh my God, thank you for coming over." No, we're ripping each other's clothes off and going at it. So we had to convey that emotion. Sometimes you have to do that. And when they yell cut, walk away, drink some water, but the thing is, you do it so many times that, again, it's not even an intimate thing. It literally is just acting.
Yes. And, that's interesting as well, because most people don't usually think about the fact that it is hard on the actor as well. This was a very emotional scene for Bronwyn, and she is a fantastic actress. She really, really got into the part. And I'll just, again, not to give anything away, I'll just leave it at, I was not a good person in this film. I don't know why I keep getting those parts, but I was not a good person in this film. And so it was extremely emotional for her. So as soon as it ended, everybody on set is checking with her to make sure she's okay, including me. And I've just come out of an emotional scene as well. But, it's emotional for the actor, not in the way that everyone else is thinking. They're thinking, "Oh man, Bronson just got to be with lots of different women." No, that's not what the actor is looking at. The actor is having to get into that scene and having to create that emotional link, and that's tough to do sometimes.
Absolutely, and sometimes it stays with you. And I know, kind of not trying to change subjects, but a lot of the projects I do, I play a bad guy, so I have to tap into that. Well, once they yell cut, it's a wrap. I have to drive home. The lines are still running through my head. I'm laying in the bed. I'm not going to sleep right away. I have to decompress. The lines are still running through my head. The scenes, even like I could do that better, but that stuff is still running in you because you have to tap into something to evoke that emotion. And for a lot of people, let's say Heath Ledger is probably the most famous, where you get in deep and you begin to really live that character.
Yeah, it's almost, it can be dangerous. It really can almost be dangerous. You're so involved in who that character is that you have to then pull yourself out of that character, get back into your car, like you said, and just, just take a minute and decompress. And all right, I am not this jerk that I just was.
Right.
I got to go back to being, nice David, nice Bronson, nice, whatever. You gotta get yourself out of that character. And that's for any character, whether you're a good person, bad person, you're not that person. I heard Jim Carrey was the same way. I heard that he was, I guess he lost a relationship or something because he got so into his character. And the woman said, look, man, I wanted to be with Jim Carrey, not all of these other people that you're playing in films. And I think it was Jim Carrey that I heard he lost 1 or 2 relationships for that, because you get really into that stuff. So, but Buddha, thanks for calling in, man. I really appreciate it. You're the absolute best. I can't wait to see you in The Legend of Johnny Jones. I know you got that coming up soon. Any quick shout outs you want to give before you go?
Angry Troll Studio, Matt, Ghost, I love you. We are looking forward to doing Johnny Jones. Dave, I love you too, my brother. Y'all, please support David. Uncivil War, America Divided is a great, great, great film. Once it's distributed, trust me, you guys are going to love it.
Yeah, you're just saying that because you're the lead and you outshone me in it. So, but thank you, man. I appreciate it. Bronson, call in anytime, man.
All right, brother.
All righty. Okay. You know what? And actually, while we're talking about that, real quick, this brings up something too. And I see we got Angela holding. I'll get to you in 1 second, Angela. Everything on set happens very quickly, and I realized that after I was done with this particular scene. And that scene, the scene that I was just describing, that I was just talking about with Buddha, I felt like I really nailed. I thought it really helped that Bronwyn was so incredible in it. It really helped my acting ability, because a lot of the times you're only as good as your scene partner. That's why you get great actors on set. Like, I was fortunate enough to have Musetta Vander and Daniel Roebuck on set. They elevate that set. And Bronson Buddha Taylor, who we just talked about, they elevate the set. They bring your acting up. So it helped me a lot in that scene. But everything happens quickly. And as much as I love that scene, like Buddha was just saying, you go back and you think, I could have done something better. I wish I had slowed down a little bit in that scene and just take a moment, because you think you're going so fast. And then when you look at it on screen, you realize, wow, you had a lot more time to slow down, to really make your movements crisp, precise. So once you get on set, you're going to feel like you're going a mile a minute. Slow down, take a breath, and get to it. Okay, we do have Angela on the phone, but Matt just ran away from the board. Come on. Oh, he's coming back. All right, we got Angela on the phone. Angela from Louisville.
Hey, David, how are you?
I am fantastic. How you doing, Angela?
I'm doing good.
So what's going on tonight?
Well, I'm just interested in your topic tonight, and it's hard to talk when I hear an echo, but that's okay. I'm going to work through it.
Well, we're not hearing an echo from you, so
okay, good. I'm glad. So I'm really, really new to the film industry, as in February of 2023, and I've done 6 shorts and 1 full feature so far.
Anything?
And I've learned. Well, yes, a couple of different things. Yes, you do. But one in particular thing I wanted to talk about, just to further, what you've already been saying, is we were on set. I had my little family unit, my husband and 2 children, and we had to sit around a dinner table and have a scene of interaction. Of course, we didn't know each other. And the crew and director were off doing another scene. And what I liked and what I learned is that we sat around the table and ran lines several times, and we built that rapport between us. And by the time the crew and director came over to do our scene, we were really on par with what we needed to do. And we were working well and with each other and working off of each other really easily. And I just really felt good about that scene.
Absolutely. I agree 110% with that. I think that's a fantastic comment. So we have one coming up. I've talked about a couple of times, Race Against Time in Mulberry in Florida. And that's the one that I'm helping to direct a little bit, just some of the characters. And that is one of the big things I'm preaching is before we get on set, I want every actor together rehearsing the blocking before we get on set. Now, I know it's going to be different when we get on set because like Bronson and I were just talking about, you've got different props that you're working about, different set design, but we should absolutely be practicing long before we ever get on set. 100%. I think it goes so much smoother. I agree totally with that.
Absolutely. Angela. And they were happy with what we had already came up with. We ran the scene 1,000 times. They had to do the far away, the medium, the close up on all four of us. But by the time we were finding our timing really quick, so we didn't waste a lot of time. So I really learned from that, and it was an exciting,
Yes, and that's what Kylie was yelling at me about. She's like, time is money, which I heard on Civil War. That was everything that was constantly pounded into my head. Time is money, Dave. Don't make long movements between locations if you can. Make it easy to set up and move from one scene to the next. Have the actors ready to go. Have the crew, the lighting already set. Time is money. And so, yes, on the actor side, on our side, what we can do, Angela, 110% I agree, is we can be already practicing and running lines. Now, in this situation where I was up in Alabama, I couldn't do that because the other two actresses were doing other scenes. So I didn't have an opportunity to run with them. But absolutely, if I had had the chance to run with them, I absolutely would have been running lines with them prior to, because I agree 100%. It is so good. And it makes you look good because when you get on set, like you said, the director loved what you were doing because you already were prepared, and that saves them time and money, and that makes them happy.
Absolutely. Well, that was all I wanted to say, and you're having a great show. I just wanted to come on and say that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Angela, you want to give a shout out to anyone before you go?
Well, Broken Innocence just released their teaser today at noon, so check that out. And we are creating a Twin Fields media production company, me and 3 others. So we're getting that together, and that's exciting. So just lots of things going on.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations. I've got my own production company. Okay, Angela. So don't be stealing business from me. Okay.
Nope. Won't do it. Would never think of it.
There is so much business to go around that in this industry. You're in Louisville anyway. I'm in Florida, but I love the fact that we've worked on sets before. I know I was your favorite actor on Broken Innocence, so you don't even need to say that.
You were, absolutely.
Sure. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for calling in, Angela. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Talk to you later.
Talk later. Bye. All right. I want to move on, but we've got Artie on the phone from St. Pete, and this is great. 3 for 3. I know everybody that called in today. So, Artie, I know you got something on your mind you want to talk about. Go for it.
I just wanted to call in. You had that little bit of dialogue going on Facebook about who to go to, and I had some input on that. I know on Facebook.
I know you got some things to say on it, so go ahead, bring it on. Tell me about it.
Well, I was listening to who was just on.
That was Angela Grimm in Louisville.
I was listening to what Angela was saying, and I want to add to that. It's beneficial to the cast, to the actor, and the crew to find the right time bumping into each other. You find the right time and space to be able to do that, and I fully agree. You want to have your lines down, and pros are, running their lines every chance they get. Sometimes if somebody's not there, they'll get them on the phone, if it's a scene that somebody's coming in later for. But have the lines down. The thing about the blocking is, if you have a rehearsal space and you have the luxury of having the time to rehearse before the shoot, not on location necessarily, it's great to organically figure out how you want to move, how the cast feels like moving, because really you don't want to block to the camera. You want to set the camera to the blocking, because it just feels so much more natural that way. It is more natural that way, right?
Okay.
But then when you get on set and everything, the room is all dressed and everything, now you've got some other things to work around, and if you want to be organic to that set too, so you don't want to be too locked into your blocking during rehearsal either.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like after Brahman and I rehearsed that scene, then we came out, and actually when we got onto the couch and we're in position, now all of a sudden, the DP is telling me, the director of photography is telling me, okay, camera is going to be here, so I need you to cheat back a little bit, meaning push away from the camera a little bit, and I had to back up a little bit. It changed my position. It was very difficult to actually hold the position I was in. That's another thing you talk about, the romanticness of the situation. It was not romantic. It was very uncomfortable position for me to be in, because I don't want to crush the actress who is underneath me. I don't want to be laying on top of her. And it was an awkward position in order to get the right angle for the camera. So yeah, I agree. Preparation is absolutely the biggest thing. Artie Glacken is here in St. Pete. He's a first AD, fantastic first AD. So he's been doing this. How many years have you been doing this, Artie? 2-3 years now?
No, 3 decades.
3 decades. I knew there was a 3 in it. So around 30 years. So you've been doing it for a while. So you know what you're talking about. And
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he was our first AD for the Uncivil War, America Divided. So you could see his,
which will
his
be my plug later.
What's that?
That'll be my plug later.
Oh, okay. I'm stealing your thunder there. So, but yeah, so it's funny because the difference between the crew side and the cast side, right? The crew, is, hey, we've got to get the shot and we've got to move on. And that's your job as first AD, right? Is to keep the production moving, while the actor is saying, I want the perfect light on my face. I want to say the line with the perfect inflection. Where's that boundary? We want it all there. It's a fuzzy boundary.
We really want it all to work. We really want it all to work out. We each have our jobs, and as a whole, we have our responsibilities, and we just want to be able to each work. We all have to work on our own on the side for a little bit, and then when we come together, I'll tell you, if you've got blocking worked out, and a camera makes an adjustment, and it kind of messes with or changes. Not say messes with, but changes the flow. You want to be able to mold to that, be open to that, but you also have to make it feel right. So it's okay to ask your director, and in this case your DP, or ask your director, hey, if I do this, will it work for camera as far and performance? If I do it this way, or if my only concern with doing it this way is this with the character, and then between the three of you, you work it out.
So there is a time that I can talk directly to the director as an actor.
Oh yeah. Well, I would say, there are appropriate times, but listen, every director is different.
Yes.
I worked with Paul Schrader. My first production job was being by his side as his assistant. Paul Schrader, he's directed a lot. He wrote Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Last Temptation Christ. It's controversial, but he's also got a lot of films out. He's very accomplished.
I got 1 minute with you left, Artie. Sorry.
Okay. All of his cast direction was during the rehearsals before the shoot. On set, it was all about camera, which made cast very insecure. So I was the go-to to let them know everything was okay. So every director is a little different. You got to find how you're going to work together.
But did he tell them that before they got on set? Was the cast aware of that?
I don't think he was very clear about that.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, as long as I know that in advance, that I'm good.
And I recently ran into one of the cast. It was for Patty Hearst in the 80s. I recently ran into him and had to explain to him, some 20, 40 years later,
right,
what that was all about.
That's funny.
Because he brought it up. Anyway.
All right. Well, quick, you got 5 seconds for your shout out.
Thanks for having me on. Be sure to check out Uncivil War, America Divided, y'all.
You're the best, Artie. Thank you very much for calling in. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
You got it. First AD right here in St. Pete, Florida. If you need one, he's really good at it. All right. So we really didn't get through much show today, which I had a feeling that was going to happen, and that's fine because I love all those guests. That was great. I will do that every day, every week, every Tuesday.
That's how you know, though. You can't miss if you got good material. You got so much good material. You got industry professionals calling in to back you up. That's right. How you know you got good stuff.
And you got stuff to talk about next week. Now I don't have to do any prep for next week. Before I go, so we've got our local movie spotlight for the week, and it's not a movie again. This time it is another film festival coming up. I wanted to get this in here for my good friend and business partner Iris Cookie Reyes, the 3rd annual Latin Film Festival. And this is one of those things where I'm goofy. I don't really like segregating things for the most part. I grew up in the 80s where we should be colorblind to everything, but there are times when I do like it. And this is one of those times. Like, I'm Italian, so if you have an Italian festival, I love that because you're showcasing what that ethnicity brings to the table, something that's awesome about it. So I love it when you're segregating to highlight something. And this is highlighting the amazing Latin film festival, the talent that is out there in the Latin market. It is September 16th, 4 to 8 p.m. There's going to be 2 blocks of movies. My movie, Alma, is going to be in there. It's not really my movie. It's actually Iris Cookie Reyes's film. I was small EP on it, but it's really hers. It's at Creative Pinellas, 12211 Walsingham Road in Largo, the former Gulf Coast Museum of Art. The gallery at Creative Pinellas features art exhibitions, performances, and other events. It's a beautiful location. It's a 10,000 square foot facility in Pinellas County's Pinewood Cultural Park area. And it's also a part of the Florida Botanical Gardens. So please check it out. September 16th, 4 to 8 p.m., the 3rd annual Latin Film Festival. 2 big blocks of movies from 4 to 8 p.m. at Creative Pinellas. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week. I look forward to talking to you next Tuesday at 6 p.m. And keep those calls coming in, folks. I love hearing from you all. Thanks so much. Have a great night.